Hello, everybody. So, I told you I was going to make a video. It's a little bit later than I thought. I got off work a little late today, so sorry about that. So, opiate withdrawal. I haven't talked about this in I don't know how long. uh, but yeah, I guess I can talk about it again. Like I said, I was going to make a video on it. I'm doing it, so it's all right. First comment I got was about methadone and doing the Bernice method, transferring to buprenorphine. Now, first of all, you got to understand that. One second. Here you go. You got to understand that you're still on MAT and you're going to another medication for MAT. That's perfectly fine. That is, if you don't want to be on a full agonist and a partial agonist, actually, that's a good way to go. Because when you stop and when you come down and you transfer to a partial agonist, you're going to feel more of yourself. You're going to feel more of the emotions of yourself. You're going to feel more of that childish side of you because it's not a full agonist. And here's what I wanted to say. It was bothering me a little bit, and it's nobody's fault. It was just my own brain going, "Ah, da, 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 da." What was bothering me was that science, in terms of neurology, certain hormones, certain uh, chemicals that are processed in the brain naturally, imbalances, certain things like that. I mean, you have to understand if you have an imbalance, and yes, I don't care what people say, oh, imbalances don't exist. Really, dude, I didn't have a traumatic childhood, but I grew up panicking. Yeah, I grew up panicking for no rational reason. I panicked. Panicked before getting on roller coasters on Christmas Day, on my birthday, on this person's birthday, on fucking her birthday, on his birthday. I panicked for nothing. There's no reason to throw up and vomit and have a freaking half a heart attack for however many hours. There's no reason to do that unless you have an imbalance of dopamine, serotonin. If your norepinephrine system is going and there's certain aspects of your brain that are just imbalanced, shit happens, dude. There's 8.8 plus billion humans on Earth. If you think all of them are going to have the same biological, neurobiological construct as each and every other person, then you are a moron. You're one of those people that should not be watching this video, and apparently you're smart enough for your own good, so you shouldn't have touched any substances. You probably didn't, right? No, shut up. Listen to me. Shit happens, dude. There's people that are not perfect. There are people that actually come off benzodiazepines and they have issues. They are hypersensitive to coming off of psych meds. These things happen. Okay? I, in my last videos, did not say that every person has no benzo withdrawal symptoms. I didn't say that. If you go back and you have more of an IQ that's higher than a mothball and south of Betelgeuse, and if you know what Betelgeuse is, it's a star. I'm using it figuratively. I'm just trying to give an example to tell you that there are people that are hypersensitive to coming off of certain medications. There are a lot of them. My point was is that not everybody's story has to be yours. There was times when I came off alprazolam. The first time I ever had withdrawal symptoms from alprazolam. Okay? I didn't know about the major withdrawal symptoms that are spoken about now. I knew that there were adverse effects, but I didn't know about the major akathisia, this, that, the third. I didn't know about any of that until nowadays. But guess what? When I was going through that alprazolam withdrawal the first time, and this was this was before I used opiates, dude. A friend of mine, he always had bars on him, and I'm like, yeah, I'll take a half. I mean, I'll take like a quarter, and not a whole one, but like a quarter, whatever. For a couple weeks we were doing them, and then when I had adverse effects, I had adverse effects. But guess what those adverse effects were? I had chest pain, back pain, and stomach cramping. No anxiety. I slept just fine. No anxiety. Not one panic attack. That tells you, that should tell some of you, that a lot of this has been hyped up. It has been escalated. And unfortunately, it sucks because a lot of these people that are on benzodiazepines, they're obsessed with this information slash misinformation that's put out there. And they're taking not 1/5, two fifths, 3/5, not even 4/5. The whole fucking shebang. They're taking all of it in, internalizing it. And now that's them. And that's not fair to these people. They shouldn't have to suffer like that. So for the holes that are out there bashing other people for not having the symptoms you had, or the people that don't have many symptoms and bashing other people for having more symptoms, shame on both of you. I spoke from my experience. My point in what I said was not everybody has the same story. I was trying to give some sort of a peace offering. Don't feed into everybody's horror stories, because if you do, you will become that horror story, and it will be worse. It will be a sequel to that horror story. It's not hard to freaking understand, dude. Like it's not that hard to understand. Anyway, I don't want to go off topic. So methadone. If you want to do the Bernice method for methadone, take the same exact method for a short acting opiate, fentanyl, heroin, oxycodone. Any short acting opiate, good luck getting oxycodone nowadays, but any short acting opiate, dude, take the same principle. And I know you guys know what I'm talking about. The same principle, as in microdose your way on to buprenorphine until you get to 1 milligram or 2 milligrams. If you microdose your way, write down all of the milligrams you've taken successfully, not unsuccessfully, as in put it under your tongue after you smoked a cigarette or after you ate or before you brushed your teeth, and put it under your tongue and let it sit there, and it slipped off onto your other side of your gums and went all around to the back of your throat. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the proper way to take buprenorphine. Under the tongue, keep your tongue there, and shut the fuck up. That is what you do. You don't open your mouth with the air. You don't want to oxygenate anything. You want everything to be compressed under your tongue, moist, until you start to get that nasty, disgusting, bitter taste. That's when you're good, okay? Now, with methadone, yes, it's a little bit more risky, but it's not fentanyl. However, you know what I mean? It has a long half life. Depending on the person, it could be 8 to 57 hours to 59 hours, dude. Seriously, yeah. You could be thin as a freaking rail and withdraw the next morning before you get to the clinic. Then there's some people that can go 2 days and some people that can go 3 days and not feel shit until they take their dose and they feel even better, but not sick yet. You know what I mean? It varies. It varies. So weight, your body mass index, everything, that all has to do with everything. Also, how much water you drink, no matter what weight you are, how much water you drink, what you supplement your body with. Like me, I changed my diet. I went from not eating terrible, but to way better. Salmon based meals every day. Um, you know, it varies for me. I'm very creative with my meals, but I know what my nutritional intake is. It's not easy to do, but it's not the hardest thing. It's something else to be obsessed over. That's what you want to do. Sorry, I'm watching Analyze That. um, So back to what I was saying, methadone. I mean, it has a long half life, guys. You know that. You're not fucking stupid. It has a long half life. It's not going to be easy in terms of I want it to happen within the next 3 days. I want it to happen within the next. Dude, just get that out of your head. Get it out of your head. Go and go slow. Not too slow, because buprenorphine still has a half life and it still will leave your system. It will leave eventually. So, what you have to do is for methadone, even if you're on 90 milligrams, 120, 150, whatever the fuck the maximum dosage is, even 50, 60 milligrams, dude, it doesn't matter. If you've been on it for an extended period of time, at least over 6 months to a year, it is in your body. The first dose you took, it's not in your body anymore, dude. Your body recycles shit, not recycles it. It trashes a lot of the old chemicals that came into your body. You piss it out, you crap it out, you sweat it out. I mean, the same dose you took years ago, months ago, it's not the same dose that's in your body now. Same with benzos. It's not because you've been on something for 30 fucking years. It doesn't mean that all those doses you took built up for 30 something years. And now you have 30 something years of chemicals that you have to get out of your body without any pain. That wouldn't be possible. So just get rid of that mindset. Your body has recycled that first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, 20th, 18th, 19th, 20th, whatever. All these doses, they've been depleted from your body already. That's gone. Don't think that way. You need to think about, have you gained weight since then? Have you lost weight? Have you changed your diet? Have you started working out? Have you had certain neurological changes, like certain different obsessions that you developed even while using? Oh, I love to draw. Oh, I love to play video games. Video games nowadays are a fucking lifesaver for people going on drugs, trying to get off drugs. Video games are great. Back then, yeah, maybe in the early 2000s, the late 90s, mid 90s, early 90s, yeah, we were all fucking bashed about, oh, don't play too many video games. But when it comes to a drug addict, dude, if it ain't the fucking substance that you're using, please do it. By all means, do it. So when it comes to methadone, yeah, the half life is long. And the Bernice method, when I started it, I didn't know what the hell it was. I didn't know what it was called. I didn't even know it was a thing. All I know is I was taking prescription Roxasets to start. 30 milligram prescription Roxasets, right? One day my dealer handed me a pill and it was sky blue. Sky blue. I knew with my medical back, I knew immediately that it was not a roxycodone. It was not. Even when I got a K9 and A215, yeah, y'all know what I'm talking about. I knew for a fact they're all the same color. Sky blue, dude. Tickle me fucking blue. No. I know that ain't the right fucking pill. So what I do? I broke it into like 8 or 9 pieces. Maybe 10. I don't remember now. Somewhere around 8 to 10 pieces. And I took 1/8 or 9th or 10th of that pill. Snorted it, and guess what? The only time I ever nodded off in my life was when I took that 1/8, 9th, or 10th of a pill. Sorry, I forgot the whatever. You know what I mean? I forgot, but I know I nodded off, and that was the only time I ever nodded off in my life. I swear to you, I will look you dead in the eyes. The only time, and I don't give a fuck if you believe me or not. There's nothing I can do, but it's the only time I ever nodded off was that time, and it scared the living shit out of me to the point where I was like, so that's what it feels like to even slightly overdose. I don't want that to happen again. So I began to microdose those fentanyl pills. Yes, I microdosed those fentanyl. I took one, as my tolerance grew, obviously, 1/8, 1/7, 1/6 of a pill at a time, a little boom, bump. That was it. That's what I did. That's how I was doing it, just so I can get rid of the depression. I didn't want to nod out. I didn't want to get all screwed up, dude, because honestly, what's the point? What's the point? You're nodding out and going like this. What's the point, dude? There is no point in doing that. You want to sleep? Uh, Fucking wait until your high's over and crash and take a nap, dude. I don't know what to tell you, but nodding out is not something I was ever interested in. So that was the only time I ever nodded out. So I was thinking to myself, I said, I didn't know what the Bernice method was at all. I eventually found out, but I didn't know in my own head what it was. So I was like, well, I've taken buprenorphine before, 4 milligrams, five, six. Thought those were low milligrams, even though they're really not. Buprenorphine is actually meant to be, especially for people that aren't opiate tolerant. I mean, micro doses will get them feeling amazing for like treatment resistant depression and certain other things. People that aren't opioid or opiate people, the recommended dose for buprenorphine is way lower, but our tolerance is very high. We're taking street pills, fentanyl, this, that, the third. Our tolerance is high. We're going to need a higher dose of buprenorphine or methadone. So I thought to myself, if I can microdose my fentanyl, I can microdose my buprenorphine. Maybe I can prevent that precip from happening. I'll try. It's a shot in the dark. I've gone through it about, however, I've gone through it 17 times, so trust me, I know what it's like. But I remember I was like, you know what? Screw this. I'm going to take this strip. Sometimes it was the Subutex pills. It depended on where the hell I got it from at the time. My buddy would give me like fucking 15, 20, you know, he would give me like 15, 20 freaking, uh, what do you call it? Subutex. You know what I mean? Where I got Suboxone, the orange octagons, or the strips, or the Subutex strips. It didn't matter, dude. And no, naloxone is only active for 30 minutes. Sublingually, it's completely inactive. If you shoot it up, yes, it will reject. You might get sick. You might not feel anything. I don't know. I've never shot up, so I don't know. But I know about naloxone, and naloxone has nothing to do with precip. It has nothing to do with precipitated with that ship sailed by now. I said that so many videos ago, and people just overlooked it. And I see other people posting it on their channels, and there's doctors or pharmacists coming on going, "Thank you so much for saying this. I've tried it." I'm like, dude, I've been saying this shit since day one. Maybe because I haven't uploaded or updated my YouTube channel. But I will tell you that when it comes to methadone, and I have taken it, yeah, for like 3 days or something like that. I've taken methadone, whatever. Not for months or years, but it doesn't matter. It's all about how you go about your Bernice method. Like what I said, I didn't know what the fuck the Bernice method was. I didn't know what it was. I just figured I'm taking 2, 3, 4 milligrams and I'm still going into precip. Apparently, that's too high of a dose. So let me go back and look at the pharmacokinetics and let me study the formula and see and try to really understand why this is happening at such a low dose. Well, I figured out that it actually wasn't a low dose. It's not really that low of a dose. Even 1 milligram is not that low of a dose. You need to take, like I was doing, I was taking 1 milligram and cutting the strip or the pill or whatever into, you know, 6 pieces. Be realistic, 6 pieces. I go as slow as I fucking wanted to. I might not take 0.25. I might have taken less than that to start. There's multiple times I've done this, so sorry if I'm not that accurate, but there's times I've taken, lower than 0.25 and just went up eventually to 0.25 and kept doing it and doing it and doing it, but I monitored the half-life and I kept track of the half-life. And I said to myself, look, you can go slow and small. Yes, you can do that. That's fine. The only thing is is that the half-life, eventually, that amount of buprenorphine that you're taking in is going to, sorry, I'm looking at the time I have on the clock, is going to leave your body. And once it leaves your body, if you're not continuously putting more on top, on top, on top of each dose, it's going to go. And it's pointless at that point. So you don't want to go too slow. I don't care if it's methadone, I don't care whatever it is. You don't want to go too slow. You want to go at a pace that is slow enough and comfortable enough for you, but not too slow, as in you'll lose the half life and that it will eventually leave your system and you'll have to restart. Because there's people I've talked to that are like, oh, I've been doing the Bernice method for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and I went into precip. Yeah, you went into precip, dude, because what you started with, that shit's been gone out of your system. You need to really do it this way, methadone or not. But I'm speaking for methadone right now because the half life, the components in the formula, if you look at them and how they react neurologically in the brain, if you look at it, it makes perfect sense. You need to take 1 milligram of buprenorphine. It works the same way. 1 milligram of buprenorphine. Cut that little 1 milligram into 4 pieces. Now you have 0.25, 0.5, 1, or what? 0.25, zero point 0.5, 1. Well, you can break it up into, honestly, I would just break 1 milligram into 4. That's all you have to do. You don't want to start getting too obsessed with the measurements, because if you do that, you're going to be like, oh, less is more, which it kind of is with buprenorphine. But at the same time, do you want to be doing this forever? No, dude, you do not want to be doing this forever. You need to wait until you feel some withdrawal symptoms. I mean, something. And anxiety is not a freaking indicator. It's not always an indicator. It's not always indicative of withdrawal, dude. Anxiety happens with people that don't take any substances. Anxiety happens everywhere. If you know about precip and you've been through it and you've done the buprenorphine method, the Bernice method, and failed multiple times, putting yourself in a precip, no shit, you're gonna have freaking anxiety. You're gonna wake up and be like, oh God, I'm scared, I'm scared, I'm scared. Yeah, you're gonna be scared. You're fine. It's okay to be scared. It's all right. It's fine, dude. If you got a benzo, pop that shit. Then start doing the Bernice method. I don't give a shit what anyone says. Oh, well, benzos are another addiction. Yeah, no shit, they're another addiction. But guess what? They're not dopaminergic. They don't work on the dopamine system in your brain. So you're not going to fiend for benzos unless you're an alcoholic and you can't drink anymore and you think you're doing the right thing by popping high doses of benzos. No, that's not the right thing. But us opiate addicts or recovering opiate addicts, we have a certain mindset. Most of us aren't fans of alcohol. We're not fans of anything else like that. We're not fans of it. If it doesn't flood our dopamine receptors, that's all we think. You know what I mean? So the Bernice method, take out take 1 milligram, cut it into 4 or 6. Take that tiny little bit, keep that under your tongue, brush your teeth, mouthwash beforehand so there's no biofilm that's absorbing any of your dose. So you don't miss a little bit, even a microgram. You don't want to miss anything. You want that full little tiny microdose. You want that. You don't want to miss it, because most people, even on Suboxone or Subutex, and that have been on it for however long, they complain about going into withdrawal multiple times. Well, why is that? Because they don't take the right precautions. They don't brush their teeth afterwards. They don't mouthwash after, they don't do any of that. Then water, spit it out. Make sure that you have a semi-dry, but enough to have some some saliva in your mouth. That's enough to disintegrate the tablet or the film. And once you taste that really terrible bitter taste under your tongue and it sits there and it almost starts to burn and hurt a little bit, that's when you're getting the right dose. If you don't, and you get a little tiny taste of it, and you're like, and you keep moving your tongue left and right, and then all of a sudden that fucking pill, or sorry for the language, for the ladies out there, I apologize. If you're doing that, lifting tongue left and right, and then that freaking pill or that strip ends up your freaking cheek and into your nose, dude, whatever, back of your throat, you'll know. You know what I mean? You're gonna know. You're gonna. Oh, there it is. And it's nasty crap. You know what I mean? It doesn't. It's not supposed to taste good. So my point is that make sure you take the proper precautions before taking that buprenorphine, because if you don't, you're not going to get the full dose, and a lot of people really don't. An 8 milligram is probably a 7 to most people, whether they brush or not. It's it's how it is, dude. It's just how it is. Nothing's perfect, right? Nothing's perfect. Nothing's perfect. When it comes to methadone, and you want to switch from methadone to buprenorphine, you want to do the Bernice method? Cut that 1 milligram into 5 pieces. Not even 6. Let's say 5, right? 5. Half, half, however you want to freaking do your origami. Make it 5. 5 pieces. Don't even think about the number of the dose. Don't think about that. Just know you cut 1 milligram into 5 pieces. Under your tongue. Let's say it's the next morning and you're going to go to the clinic, or you have take homes. Let yourself get a little sick, dude. You have to. Let yourself get a little sick, even if it's like, some sweating or some oversleepiness. I mean, I used to get that when I was on buprenorphine, dude. I would sleep before the withdrawal would hit. I was sleeping like a rock, but it wasn't good sleep. I mean, nightmares, sweaty feet, sweaty legs. I mean, this would all creep up as the hours went by. And I'm like, I just slept for like 13 hours, dude. Why is that? That's borderline withdrawal for something that has a long half life. It's not going to hit you like fentanyl or heroin, where it's like boom, and you're like, oh God, I need to fix. No, it's going to creep, 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 creep until you're. That's what's going to happen. So, like with methadone, considering the half life and the pharmacokinetics and the formulation of the chemical compounds in methadone, it's still not rocket science. I'm not saying any of you are stupid. Nobody knows. There's some people that don't know. They're not science savvy. They don't understand. And that's fine. That's why I'm here to tell you about that. I want to tell you. Long half-life, anything with a long half-life needs to be taken a little bit more slow than something with a short half-life, definitely. But still, take that 1 milligram, cut it into 5. If you need to do 6 pieces, do 6, dude. It's up to you. It doesn't matter. As long as you don't take too long, but you don't do it too quick. So you cut a 1 milligram into, let's go by 6 pieces. Because I know a lot of you have been through precip and it ain't fun. Let's go by 6 pieces, all right? You got 6 pieces cut from a 1 milligram strip or a pill. Strips I would prefer for that, but 6 pieces, dude, whatever. You take that 1/6 under your tongue, you shut the hell up, and you let it dissolve. You ain't feeling shit yet. You're not gonna feel anything. But keep letting it dissolve. Make sure you get that. You actually might feel like a minor little sweat, and then back to normal. You'll feel fine, right? Go about your day, dude. Go about your day. At night, the same night. Let's say you took it at 8, 9, 10 in the morning. Now it's 8, 9, 10 at night. You take that second piece of the 1/6 of the 1 milligram under the tongue. And shut up. Don't say anything. Keep your mouth closed. Brush your teeth prior. Do it all to make sure that the spores in your, the spores, they make sure everything just opens so it's exposed. Not while the mouthwash is still in your mouth. You don't want to taste mouthwash because it's going to throw you off at the taste of buprenorphine. You want to mouthwash, clean your freaking mouth, then rinse. Spit it out. You know what I mean? Keep rinsing. So now all there's left is just saliva. That's when you're ready. Take your dose and then take it again at night, right? Technically, you can still use on top of it. You can still use. I was doing it before I knew what the Bernice method was. I was still using, and I think it was like by day 3 or near 3.5, 4 days. I remember I was like, either I have a really shitty batch or the opiates are not working, which would mean the buprenorphine's dominant in my brain. I'm actually not craving anything. This is weird. You're gonna question yourself in human terminology. You're gonna start saying shit. You're gonna start saying things. And you're gonna be like, oh, this is weird. I don't really feel much. I don't feel like I want to use. I'm not in a rush. And you're gonna go, huh? But this is what I'm used to, so I gotta go back to chasing my chase. Dude, if you need to get fucking a bundle or two bundles, you do it and test yourself and see how much you crave after doing this. But for methadone, it's different. It's different a little bit. The half life is a lot longer. So, but, however, 1/6 of 1 milligram is not going to throw you into precip, even with methadone. It's not. You take that 1/6 of a milligram for 3 nights. Let's say 3 nights. You do it for 3 nights. Because then it's just enough time for the half life to start creeping out, but you're now going to add a higher dose. Now it's 2/6 of that milligram, and you're going to do that for 2 days, not even 3 days, 2 days, not three, two. Because if you keep doing the three thing, the shit's going to leave your system, and you're going to have to restart and restart and restart and precip. Don't. You want to make sure you do the 3 days to start with 1/6 or even 1/5, whatever you can handle. Then you go to the 2/6. Do that for like 2 days. Maybe, yeah, 2 days. Then 3/6 of a milligram. Only 2 days. You want to build, build, build while reducing your methadose. And I don't mean the brand, I mean your methadone dose. While reducing your methadone dose, you're going to notice something. What you're going to notice is that the withdrawal symptoms that usually would creep up if you didn't have buprenorphine the army starting to interrupt the receptors. If it wasn't there, you'd start to feel like shit. Excuse me for cursing again. Now you're going to start being like, usually I'm sick by now. I don't feel that sick. A little sweating, but nothing like it was if I wasn't doing this. It's because the buprenorphine is starting to dominate your brain. That is what you want, dudes and dudettes. You want that. You want the buprenorphine to slowly creep over every receptor and start the methadone. Or partner, actually, pharmacokinetically, it really just partners next to the methadone. But the more you put of buprenorphine in, the methadone will start to do and leave. You know what I'm saying? Try to picture what I'm saying. You know what I mean? The methadone and the buprenorphine are basically like, yo, what's good, bro? Shake hands, hug. Yeah, I was here for 6 months to a year, but I'm gonna move in like a week or so, 2 weeks. I'm gonna be moving, so we can chill or whatever. We can hang out together, and then I gotta bounce, and you can move in here fully. Think of it like that. That's a good way to think about it. Never thought about that before. But just think of it like that. You know what I mean? Like, you're taking these micro doses. The 1/6 or 1/5, and then the 2/6 or the 2/5 for 2 days. First start with 3 days, then 2 days of a slightly higher dosage. Now, once you're at 3/5 or 3/6 of a milligram, you're halfway to a milligram, dude. That's great, but you don't want to stop. You don't, even if you feel a little bit sick, even if it's a slight precip, because that might happen. I've felt it before with fent. I've felt it before. A slight precip, where I was like, ugh, and then all of a sudden, like not even 30 minutes later, it freaking evened out, and I'm like, huh, I'm fine, but I'm not crazy. I feel good. I feel fine. I feel normal. Like that's gonna happen, and it might not. You might not feel anything. You might not. So my point is like, 3 days, 2 days, 2 days up in your dose. And now you're at like 4/5 or 4/6. You know what I mean? Of 1 milligram. Once you can take 4/6 or 4/5, 4/6, sorry, tongue twister, or 4/5 of a milligram for another 2 days, and 5/5 and 5/6. Once you get to a milligram, that is a huge militude. 1 milligram will still throw you into precipitated withdrawal. So if you can work your way up to 1 milligram, and then after that, the next morning, because you don't want to let too much time go by, because if you do, that buprenorphine is gonna do stuff. Dude, I'm gone. It's gonna leave your system, and then what? You're gonna have to add more micro dosages. You don't feel like doing that shit. Nobody wants to do that. You need to add on to your buildup. You need to, if you're up to 1 milligram and you built your way through 3 days, then two, 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 up to 1 milligram, now you're at 1 milligram. You want that next morning you wake up and you actually might not feel sick, because the buprenorphine is starting to coat your brain and partner next to the other opiates you're taking. You need to take 1 milligram at that point. Just, if you could take 1 milligram off a strip, cut it into 5 or 6 pieces, take that other little 1 milligram that you didn't cut into 5 or 6 pieces, and put that under your tongue. Let it sit there. You're probably not going to go into precip. And technically, you can still use, even though it's technically fucking pointless to keep using. Yes, the Bernese method does say, it states that you can use your full agonist on top of the buprenorphine, but honestly, why the fuck? To me, it's like they only stated that rule because addicts are addicts. They're gonna want their full agonist. They're used to it, so they're gonna be like, any excuse I can have to keep using. Oh, you said apples and oranges? That means I can keep using. They're going to take everything and anything and say, that means I can keep using. I mean, dude, if you can, at that point, give yourself some time. Let your brain go a little. Let yourself think, am I actually craving anything? Because chances are you're going to be like, even though that's not the recommended dose of buprenorphine for blocking cravings completely, it's not. That's like somewhere around 6 to 8 milligrams is for blocking cravings. But guess what? If you're taking that much buprenorphine, if you're taking 1 milligram, that means you can go to 2 milligrams. You can go from 1 to 1.5, like 1 milligram in the morning, 1 milligram at night, 1.5 milligrams in the morning the next day, and then 2 milligrams that night the next night. You can do that. However, you need to reduce your full agonist. If you do not reduce your fentanyl or heroin, if you're one of the lucky ones that actually gets heroin, if it's oxycodone, just shut the hell up and wait 24 hours and just fucking take your buprenorphine. But we're talking fentanyl, something that's lipophilic. Something that was so complex that my left and right brain were in withdrawal. I mean, my left brain wasn't and my right brain was, and then my right brain wasn't and my left brain was. My left foot was in withdrawal, my left leg wasn't, my right foot wasn't, my right was. It's so complex. It stores in all of your fat cells, so you're gonna feel it everywhere. It's complex. It's not easy to beat. However, buprenorphine seems to be the only thing that can really counteract fentanyl that good, like at low dosages. I don't really know why yet. I'm trying to figure it out, but we're talking about methadone here. Long half life. You do what I just told you. Most people, they'll move a little quicker with full agonists. Shorter half lives. They're going to move a little bit quicker with the Bernice method. But with methadone, you don't want to move too slow. And then you don't want to move too quick. So it is a little more complex, but it's doable. I know people that have done it. I had to tell them about the damn Bernice method, and they did it, and they were like, "It worked. I didn't get precip. I'm fine. I'm buprenorphine now. I'm not even pissing for methadone." And I'm like, "That's great." You know what I mean? I told them the same fucking way. Like I was like, the way I explained it to you guys in the past, like however 41 minutes I've been running my mouth. You know what I mean? Like you go slow, but not too slow. So once you get to 2 milligrams, that's a big milestone. That's a huge milestone. From there, you can 2.5, 3, or 2.5 at night, 2.5 in the morning, then 3. Once you get to that, the day that you're going to take 3.5 and 4 milligrams, once you take that 3.5 in the morning and that 4 milligrams at night, dude, 4 milligrams, if you're taking 4 milligrams and not going in a precip, you're not going to go in a precip. You're not. The buprenorphine has slowly fucking Muay Thai roundhouse kicked the rest of the opiates out of your freaking system. The rest of all of them out of your system. They're maybe not all of them, but enough to the point where you can take 4 milligrams of buprenorphine and you're fine. If you don't go in a precip after 4 freaking milligrams, dude, you're good. You're good. Don't go, Jay. Oh, I'm gonna take 8. Technically, you can if you want to. Personally, I would go from 4 to 6, or even 4 to 5 with methadone. You gotta be a little careful. 4 to 5, and then maybe 4 to 6. But you have to understand, and I'm not going to speak to you guys like you're children. You're addicts. You're very smart. You're way smart. I mean, we are like fucking genius because look at all we did. Look at all the bullshit we caused, and people were like, "Huh? Well, I guess." And we're like, "I got what I wanted." You're not fucking. There I go again, cursing. I'm so sorry. It's a Jersey thing, and Sicilian and Greek with me. The thing. I'm sorry. For the women, I apologize for cursing, but you gotta understand that once you're up to 4 milligrams, 6 milligrams, yeah, you could definitely take 8. Once you're at 8, dude, don't wait too late. Stop your full agonist. But you need to understand that you have to reduce that full agonist as you're doing this. You cannot take, sorry, Penny. You cannot take 90, 100, 120 milligrams of methadone while doing the Bernese method and stay on 90 or 120 milligrams of methadone. You cannot do that and then go to the Bernese method, or else eventually you're going to get confident and be like, "Oh yeah, little micrograms didn't do anything. Here goes a 4. Boom." And you're going to get sick, dude. You don't want that. You need to be smart. You have to decrease your full agonist. Yes, methadone is a full agonist. Heroin without the high, even though I've seen people get lifted off methadone. Whatever. Methadone's considered a blocker, but how much does it fucking block? Decrease the methadone. So if you're going to do this Bernice method within 7 days, you're going to have to decrease that methadone semi-dramatically. Semi. Not full on like, oh, 90, 50, 30, 0. Not like that. If you're at, let's just use 100. If you're at 100 milligrams of methadone, and then the first 3 days you're doing the Bernice method, try to reduce it to 80 milligrams. And from 80, work your way down to 60. From 60 down to 30. Once you're at 30, that's usually the recommendation where somebody could wait a specific period of time and switch to buprenorphine. That's in the guidelines. If you read the guidelines, 30 or 20 milligrams of methadone is the lowest dose where you can either hop off and freaking bear it out or switch to buprenorphine. That is the recommended dose for switching. So, if you're on a higher dose, dude, and you're taking 150 milligrams, you're going to have to do the same thing, just stretch it out a little bit, You're going to have to go through some withdrawal. If you're in a higher dose of methadone, dude, if you're up in the 150 or whatever the hell, you're gonna have to let yourself get sick. Like you're gonna have to let that tolerance for a couple days, dude. Like take a couple days off of work. Shit sucks. There's no comfortable way out of this. But I mean, if you're on, 90 milligrams or something like that, 90 to 80 in the first few days, and then 80 to 50, and then 50 to 30 or 20. You know what I mean? While increasing your buprenorphine dose slowly, but you need to decrease your full agonist, as in the methadone. You need to decrease it while you go up in the buprenorphine. You have to, because if you freaking don't, what the hell do you think's gonna happen? Oh, I'm gonna take more methadone and more buprenorphine, and your fucking poor brain is gonna be like, oh god, they're fighting and they won't stop. You're gonna feel depression, you're gonna feel panic, anxiety, you're gonna feel so many feelings that you can't describe in human terminology because they're not meant to be described, dude. You're not supposed to pound your brain like that, like we're on XNXX. You're not supposed to fucking pound your brain that way. You don't do that. You gotta be gentle with your brain, and also understand that major depression you might feel, unless you're mentally tough enough to. Some people are. There's times I've been that tough where I could overpower the depression, and I could be like, sometimes I didn't, dude. Sometimes I was like, oh, I just want to do. I'm honest. I'm not gonna lie. I just want to. There's times I wanted to do that. I had 2 attempts in my life. Yes, 2 suicide attempts. So I'm not bullshitting any of you. But I want you to know you need to decrease that full agonist if you're going to increase that partial. You need to decrease the full and increase the partial, even if it's dramatically quick. Because the buprenorphine eventually is going to cover certain amounts, certain regions of your brain, enough of you to, speak in layman's terms, it's going to cover enough that when you're supposed to be going into methadone withdrawal, you're not going to feel that methadone withdrawal, and you're going to be like, why don't I feel sick? Because the buprenorphine's winning. That's it. It's like a battle. The buprenorphine's winning the fucking race. That's what you want to do. Once you reach 5 to 6 milligrams, even 4 milligrams, with methadone, we'll go for the safe route, 5 to 6 milligrams. If you can take 5 or 6 milligrams in one dose, once you get there, you're good, dude. Stop your fucking methadone. Just stop. Stop the methadone. Don't go back. Do not go back. Don't. Stay on the buprenorphine. Then, if you're worried and scared about being dependent on buprenorphine, we have the shot nowadays. Sublocade, Brixadi. We have different types of shots of different formulations that are the same fucking thing. You can do it. It's not impossible. I'm telling you right now, take it from me, 17 precipitated withdrawals. It's not impossible. You guys can do it. If I have to sit here on a live freaking video while you guys take your microdoses of buprenorphine, I will do it. I'll sit here and watch. I'll talk to you. I'll do everything I have to do. If you guys want to do it live, you want me to go live and everybody wait until they first, they take their first dose of buprenorphine, that first microdose, I'll do it with you guys, dude. I will do it. And the second, and the third, and the fourth, and the fifth, and the sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, however many fucking times for you to get it. I'm here for you guys. Opiates, that's my specialty. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. I've been through enough with that shit. I still cannot count how long it's been now, but I don't give a shit anymore. I'm not counting anymore. That's my past life, dude. I have ADHD. I'm high on life. But guess what? I want my viewers that are still suffering to get through this shit because I know, especially nowadays, dude, you guys got a way off. You got the shots. I have 3 friends that got the shots, 2 Sublocade, 1 Brixadi. Both of them, or I mean, both, all 3 of them. It's been like over a year and 6 months. No withdrawal, nothing. One said he had too much sleep. That's like a fucking blessing for opiate addicts. Too much sleep. That's like the people in rehab with alcohol. You give them a Librium, they sleep for like fucking how many days, dude? Like 4 or 5 days. Wouldn't you love that? Yeah, I'm sure you freaking would. But the other 2, they did nothing. They didn't feel anything up here. They didn't feel anything here. Nothing. They were fine. They didn't notice. They were like, I urinated and I was negative for buprenorphine. So I guess I'm not on it anymore. But I don't care about it anymore. So yeah, I feel pain a little more now, like if I get hurt, but other than that, that's it. And I'm like, that's freaking fantastic. So methadone, Bernice method, a little bit slower. A little bit slower than a short half-life agonist. This has a little bit of a longer half-life. Also go with your body. What you feel is right. You might think you're going into precip sometimes, but you're not. How many times that's happened to me and others I know? Like, I give them a Xanax or clonazepam, and they're just like, I feel normal. I'm like, that means it was all freaking panic. And they're like, actually, I'm feeling okay. I don't want any dope. I feel fine. And I'm like, that means it was just anxiety. Anxiety is a symptom of withdrawal, but it's also not. So even with benzo withdrawal, anxiety, that could just be your anxiety. It doesn't necessarily mean that it is a withdrawal symptom. These pupils have to be huge. Once they're like big, your pupils are big. And I don't mean when you're clean. When you're on opiates, they're always boop. Once they're big, that is one of the main indicators that you're ready for your buprenorphine dose. So if you can let yourself stay sick for a while, even on methadone, let yourself stay sick for a while. Just go get sick, dude. I know it sounds crazy, but dude, what the fuck? You've been sick before when you were using dope. And some people know. They've only been on methadone or buprenorphine for chronic pain. There are people like that too. But guess what? They've all been sick before, waiting for their medication, their scripts to go through. Wait until your pupils are big. Wait until you also have at least 3 other withdrawal symptoms: sweating, back pain, which the back pain that you have in withdrawal is not because your back hurts. It's because your adrenal glands sit on top of your kidneys, and when it's pumping out all that freaking cortisol, you're going to have back pain and high blood pressure, which causes insomnia. and other issues. That's why they give you beta blockers. So, I'm not going to go forever with this video, but just know with methadone, take it somewhat slow, but not too slow to the point where the freaking buprenorphine leaves your system and you got to restart. You need to pile it on top the same way you did with the methadone, just not so harsh. Not. Oh, I'm gonna take 1 milligram, then 2, then 3. Don't do that. Just trust me, don't do that. That 1 milligram into 5 pieces or 6 pieces, whatever you feel like doing, whatever your anxiety tells you to do it that way. If you have to, it's fine. Take that little 1/6. If you get a little cocky the next day, you took two 1/6 of a milligram. Take 2 of them together. 2/6. Now, let it build, dude. You're gonna know. Your brain's gonna tell you when the buprenorphine is dominant. Once you feel like you're not craving anything at all, go as long as you can. Still microdose, but don't take any full agonist. Just stop. Eventually, it's gonna be like 3 fucking days. You're gonna be like, it's been 3 days, dude. It's been 3 days. I haven't taken my methadone, but I'm not that sick. A little bit, yeah. I don't, my joints hurt a little. Some muscle spasms, a little restlessness, not that bad. That means the buprenorphine is doing what it's supposed to do, and buprenorphine is safe. It's not easy to come off of if you keep and cutting it. We've got the shot nowadays. Just shut the fuck up and get the shot and get off. That's all you gotta do nowadays. We didn't have that luxury back in our days when we were using. We didn't have that. We had to just keep a lip or pick up a habit to get off. The only way we could do it. Nowadays, you've got options. Don't fear getting onto buprenorphine. If you want off methadone, get off of it doing this route. Go ahead. Or just wait for 4 or 5 days and take a damn buprenorphine. Which you're not going to do. Unless you're that tough. And some of you are. But regardless, the Bernice method, it's not a one size fits all. Some people can handle it, some can't. But a lot of the statistics, including myself and others I know that have done it multiple times, it's worked. You have to believe in it. Like Peter Pan, dude, you gotta believe. If you don't believe in it, your brain's gonna go panic, freak out. Then what? You're just gonna be pushed back, dude. You don't want that. It's not impossible. I mean, we're talking a week and a half, 2 weeks maximum of microdosing to get onto buprenorphine. Just do it, dude. Nike, just do it. If you gotta take beta blockers and a fucking Ativan or Xanax or clonazepam to break that little precip you might have, which is probably gonna be just minor, then do it. Let the buprenorphine start to hump all the shit out of your receptors. Just do it, dude. Stop thinking about it too much. Because that's the problem I had. I kept overthinking it. When I did that, nothing went smoothly. Once I got that confidence and I studied, which I did for you guys, well, did it for myself. Before I even touched drugs, I was already into pharmacokinetics and all that. But when it got into testing it on myself, I did a lot for you guys just so I could suffer and be like, this works. Like the nitrous expels opiates from the brain faster when they do the rapid detox. They do use nitrous. It pulls opiates out of your system very quick. You start feeling a flash and you start sweating and whoa, that's some opiates that are out of your system now. Look it up if you have to. Whatever the hell you guys do, you Google it, whatever. I don't know. My point is that you can get off any substance you want. You're just so used to the substance that all you hear is horror stories. Same with the benzo world. Horror stories, horror stories, horror stories, horror stories. Just to stop fucking reading them. Have your own fucking horror story. Because chances are it ain't gonna be a horror story. You can do it, dude. Come on, guys. Just fucking ease up and just do it. If that's what you want to do and you're this fucking deep in and you're commenting on my videos and I'm nothing on YouTube, just do it. All right? If that doesn't help, let me know. I'll fix certain things, but you got this.